Alright, thus we JosefVStalin, and welcome back to my mod comparison, and you can see that I've loaded up the Imperial Splendour mod, version 2.1. You can see that it hasn't actually changed the background music, but the main focus of this mod is to diversify the factions in the campaign. That was the thing that they were going for, was to create as much diversity and much individuality between all the factions that they possibly could. So, for example, let's load up some grand campaign here. You see, they haven't changed the flags, the portraits like the Darth mod, but they have added in some minor playable factions that they believed should have been playable, you know, at the start. Like you can see, there's Savoy, Persia, Morocco. You can play as the Mughal Empire, Denmark, Portugal, Venice. I believe the Italian states are in there somewhere, if I'm not mistaken. I guess not. I thought they were. Oh well. But yeah, so what the main thing they were trying to do was diversify the factions. So for example, I read some of the little comparisons they did. The Russians have extremely powerful artillery. Like, they have some of the best artillery in the game, and their actual melee units are very weak. They're very they come in large numbers, but they're very weak. They have low morale. They have low abilities, and basically they're used for like swarming people. And their cavalry isn't that good either, but their cannons are extremely good and extremely powerful. The Swedes, on the other hand, have a very elite army. They have above average in all categories, but all their unit sizes are much smaller because of their low population. So the units are much better, but there's fewer of them, and then they made vast, expansive tweaks to all the factions to put some diversity into things. So let's just quickly load up the campaign map, so I'll show you guys around a little bit. So again, not a whole lot has actually changed on the campaign map, but oops, wrong button. But you can see that they've added exponential amount of new technology, especially to the military technology. Like you see, there's new Russian reforms exclusive to the Russians. They've moved up fire by rank considerably, to move it up platoon firing, and really you can see the westernization of cavalry really revamped. And they also apparently they have some standardization of calibers, you know, all kinds of new technologies that they've added, and they've changed around the way the technology trees have been formatted, not so much for the philosophy or the industry, but on the military side they've greatly changed the trees and the branches and everything. So I'm gonna load up a quick battle and then show you another battle in the vein of Imperial Splendour versus Darth mod. So I'm gonna do the same Russia versus Sweden kind of setup, but as you can see, they've added a ridiculous amount of new infantry here. Like, we've got some garrison infantry, we got line infantry, Yaki Cossacks, Jaegers for the Russians, hand mortar companies, grenadiers, Ukrainian land militia, Siberian hunters, Smolenskevich. Sorry, I hate it when they put the Russian letters in the Latin alphabet, because it confuses me, because mentally I change those words back to the Russian Cyrillic alphabet so I can better pronounce them. So I don't know, just a random thing. And they have a whole bunch of new different Imperial Guards. We've got some new cavalry, you know, new advanced cavalry here. And we've even got different pounds of rockets, so we've got like all the way up from 6-pounder to 18-pounder rockets, 1/4 PUD, the Corn gun howitzer batteries, now 24-pound rockets, secret howitzer battery for the Russians. So the Russians just have some, you know, awesome, you know, variations in artillery. Let's look at the Swedish side. What have they changed for the Swedes? They've added there's some militia here, Jaegers, line infantry, 2 different types of line infantry, Finnish hand mortars, Jaeger sharpshooters, grenadiers, top hat guards. They've also added, of course, some new cavalry, different variations of mortars. So they've really revamped everything, revamped so much in terms of the units. They've reskinned a lot of them. So let's take a look at some of those units in action. So I've just started up this battle here. As you can see, I got my basic battle lines. I've got some Ukrainian land militia here at the front, along with militias kind of taking the front line, along with my Siberian hunters. They're my riflemen, and they have just, you can see the range on these guys is just absurd. Like, it goes all the way almost to the Swedish lines. And then you can see, like, the Russian artillery is just pounding them. I've got these awesome looking artillery things right here. These guys are called the Shuklov Secret Howitzer Battery. These guys just look like absolute monsters. I've got Balziaki artillery back here, and then you can see in this one they've actually increased the size of the mortar regiments from 4 to 6 cannons in a regiment, but I'm not sure if that's for everyone else or just for the Russians. And you can also see the elite regiments have more troops in them. So I've got a whole bunch of elite Russian Imperial Guards here. Over here, yeah, all these Imperial Guards have a lot of troops in them. I've got some Cossacks hidden in here, some Cossack troops, some skirmishers, some garrison infantry right here. You know, your basic garrison infantry. You have 240 guys in a regiment. Not as much as the Darth mob, but they still have increased the amount. Some more just basic line infantry, and here's some hand mortar companies. But you can see they've put a lot of effort into reskinning a lot of these guys. You can definitely see, like, these Russian trench coats and the line infantry, and the differences between them and garrison infantry, and how the Ukrainian militia looks. And you can tell that they've put a lot of effort into how these guys look, how these guys feel, and how these guys play. They also have increased rifle range, but not as much as in the Darth mod. Changed the skins on the Swedish troops. I don't know what the hell just happened there, but it looked awesome. Oh, that's my guys are firing canister shot. Oh my god, did you see that? Oh, Jesus Christ. That's shrapnel shot from my Shuklov howitzers, and they just ripped these guys up. I'll put shrapnel shot on these other guys too. They just tore that one cavalry regiment up. Did you see that? That was epic. And these Russian artillery batteries are not even letting the Swedes get close to my main battle line. Swedes coming in. On a side note, I was reading the differences for the Swedes as compared to a lot of other troops, and apparently the Swedes have the best melee capabilities in the game. Apparently they're like just total like hardcore knife fighters or something like that. But I don't know. Let's start surrounding these Swedes. Move in some regiments to move in behind them. There's some riflemen over there. I'll send the cavalry out to chase them down. You can see the Swedish battle line is just coming in. The militia are doing the best to force them back. Corsairs, these are just regiments of horse, but my guys have 100 troops in them, and they only have 80. Here's the hand mortar company. I'm gonna move them out. So here come the Russian line infantry. There's a group of Swedish line infantry right here in a square. They ran into some fleeing line infantry and decided that they would stab them. There comes some shots from my artillery batteries. I just wanna see if my artillery batteries would just like tear these guys up. Waiting for the next shot from them. Yeah, a close victory. I deployed 2,700 troops and lost only 444. The Swedes deployed 1,268 troops and lost 893. So you can tell already the differences in numbers between these two armies, how much bigger a Russian army is compared to a Swedish army is. But that's about it in terms of Imperial Splendour versus Darth mod. I love both these mods, and I think they both make incredible and substantial changes to the game that make it a lot better and a lot more fun and a lot more epic. But it's up to you guys which one you want to see me play. I've given you kind of the rundown of both of them. If you've got any questions, I'd be happy to answer. But it's up to you guys now to choose which one you want to see implemented in the next campaign. But for now, this is JosefVStalin signing off, and I'll see you guys later.